today's project diary, I will show you how to use human urine as a fertiliser in your garden.
Hi and welcome to Project Diaries. Now today's video is obviously going to get a lot of comments and maybe a hell of a lot of dislikes, but you've seen the thumbnail and you've read the title, so you already know what this is about. Yes, it's using human urine as a fertiliser in your garden. This is a completely underestimated free source that works really well, but people are just disgusted by it. But they don't seem to be disgusted by the fact that they use sort of manure and vermicompost, which is basically worm waste. Some people also use blood and bone meal. So we use all these different waste products from animals, but we never actually think about what we can use out of our own waste. Now, human feces is a little bit different. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this unless you've done a lot of research. But using human urine is actually really good at growing vegetables, and it's just a really good feed. Now, I will say that if you're on any medication or if you have any kidney and liver issues, don't use your urine in the garden, because obviously you're putting different chemicals in that aren't natural. So basically, I'm just going to run through the science part of it and hopefully win you over and show you what a good source this is to use. And here's how to use it.
So by now, a majority of you are probably pulling this face and thinking this subject is completely disgusting and why am I talking about it? But this is mainly down to modern society telling us it is nothing but a waste product. In the past, urine was used for so many different things all across the ages. Around the 16th century, people found that urine was actually really good at removing stains and bleaching clothes. The ancient Romans took it one step further and actually used it for a mouthwash that cleaned and whitened teeth. Urine can also be used to rehydrate skin. It can also be used for many things such as psoriasis, eczema, corns, and calluses. They also used urine to tan and soften certain animal hides to use as leather from shoes, belts, uniforms, and clothes. Romans were so obsessed with the use of urine they actually imported a majority of it from Portugal, as they found this was the best. Moving even further back in history, urine was actually used to cure tobacco. This tobacco was used throughout the ages for cigarettes, peace pipes and cigars. And if you remember the 5th of November in 1605, urine was actually used as a key ingredient to produce gunpowder. Now, coming up to a more present day, it has been known that peeing on a jellyfish sting can actually stop it from hurting. Now, this is actually a complete myth, and peeing on a jellyfish sting can actually cause more damage. The salt and sodium in your urine can actually be counterproductive and make the sting worse. So no matter what you've seen on TV or read on the internet, do not try this at home. So now you've had a brief history lesson on how urine has been used throughout the ages, it's time to look at your own. So here's a colour chart for what your urine may look like. The colour of your urine is really important, not only for this project, but for your general health. Ideally, you want to aim for the first 3 or 4 in this colour range. If the colour of your urine is more at the lower end of this chart, you really are dehydrated. Staying this dehydrated for long periods of time can seriously put a strain on your kidneys. The best advice is to drink around 8 glasses of water a day. Keeping well hydrated not only gives you a good supply of urine for this project, but it also benefits your memory, your kidneys, your liver, and even your digestive system. Drinking a good amount of water daily will genuinely make your health a lot better. There is also lots of controversial information on the fact that drinking your own urine can help you survive in harsh conditions. While this may help in the short run, drinking too much urine is actually high in salt, so it's like drinking seawater. This may end up dehydrating you even quicker, and in large amounts can even cause harm to your stomach. So now you know how to collect yourself a really healthy urine sample. Next is to know exactly what's in it. It turns out there's actually quite a lot. Now, ammonia was the key ingredient that made urine so successful throughout history. But as you can see, it contains lots of minerals that are also featured in many plant foods and fertilizers. If you look on the back of any of these packaging or bottles, it will give you an NPK rating. This stands for nitrogen, phosphorus and potassium. And as you can see, all 3 of those are featured in urine samples. You can also find magnesium and calcium, which are also helpful and benefit healthy plant growth. The nitrogen element is found in the highest 2% of your urine sample and is known as urea. This is now being used as one of the key ingredients for commercial fertilizers. A whopping 140 million tons of urea is produced every year worldwide, and over 90% of it is used in commercial fertilizers and feeds. Thankfully, not all of this comes from urine anymore and is produced on a global scale in mass quantities. This completely synthetic and organically made compound is non-toxic, and as you can see, the NPK rating for commercially made urea fertilizers are 20, 5 and 6. In comparison to other commercially available fertilizers such as blood meal and cottonseed meal, you can see that urea holds almost double the amount of nitrogen and extremely large amounts of potassium and phosphorus. This extremely high level of nitrogen means that urea fertilizer is the supreme feed for all sorts of leafy greens and kale. It's produced in small white pellets that are completely water soluble. Urea in its true form are colourless and odourless, and is neither acid or alkaline, so it doesn't change the pH of the soil. These extremely nutritious pellets can be spread all across acres of fields and will completely dissolve into the soil as soon as it rains or the plants have been watered. Urea fertilizers are extremely helpful for sandy soils or anywhere that's had heavy rainfalls due to the nitrogen being leached out of the soil. So if that's the rate of commercially made urea, what's the rate of your own? Well, this basically depends on your diet. The more protein you consume will mean the more nitrogen you will produce in your urine. On a typical healthy Westerner's diet, the ratio will be 11 to 1 to 2. But if your diet consists of lots of canned food and French fries, this will give you a higher salt level. A high salt level can actually turn this fertilizer into a killer, which you really don't want to spray over your plants. But I will give you the ratio to dilute this safely later on in the video. So your own urine being a free and endless supply of fertilizer, you can really see that it holds up compared to other commercial fertilizers. The only problem with this fertilizer is so much nitrogen will actually only promote leafy greens. So for fruits and vegetables such as strawberries, tomatoes and peppers, you really need a way to up the potassium and phosphorus. Thankfully, African farmers solved this problem many generations ago and are still using this technique even today. Again, they use another perfectly good free source, which is untreated wood ash. As soon as they finish cooking their dinner on an open fire, they allow the ash to cool and mix it in with the urine. The ash is low in nitrogen but also high in potassium and phosphorus. It also contains an extra boost of calcium and magnesium. So mixed together gives you an all-round perfect fertilizer. Once these two ingredients have been mixed really well in water, it can be used for almost every single crop. The next thing is, if you're a pet owner, you're probably accustomed to these kind of marks on your lawn. This is down to the acidity of your cat or dog's urine. It also contains a lot more urea and is a higher concentrate of urine. In its pure form, the acidity will actually burn the grass or plants you feed it to. So you'll first need to dilute it before you actually apply it to any crops. So what's the ratio for you to dilute with water? Small amounts of urine applied straight to your compost heap will actually accelerate the breaking down process. This is the only time you can use urine in its purest form. If you're using it as a general garden feed, you want to mix it to 10 parts water to 1 part urine. So if you're adding this mix to, say, a watering can, you want to put 10 jugs of water into the watering can first and then 1 jug of urine. This is a good ratio to make an all general garden feed. Now, younger plants don't really need a fertilizer or feed at the younger stages because they should be getting all their nutrients from a really good compost mix that you're growing them in. But if you feel your plants are suffering from poor quality soil, you can use a weaker solution mix of 20 parts water to 1 part urine. The final point I'm going to raise is just how much clean drinking water we waste just by flushing the toilet. Older toilets can waste between 3.5 and 7 gallons of water per flush. So if you're on a water meter like Grandad is, your water bill is really increased with every single flush that you do. If you're in America, the federal plumbing standards now specify that all new toilets can only use up to 1.6 gallons per flush. Which means on average a person can waste up to 18.8 gallons, which is 71.2 litres per day, just to flush away a perfectly good product to use as a really helpful fertiliser for your garden.
So hopefully you've enjoyed today's project diary and you haven't been grossed out too much. Weirdly, this was one of the most requested videos that I've had since starting this channel, so I hope those people that did ask for it enjoyed the information that I gave. I actually really enjoyed going through and researching all of this subject, so I am going to use it in the garden at some point. Please, if you are using it and you want to tell your friends and family when you're giving them the vegetables and the crops that you make, it's up to you whether you tell them that you've used urine to grow them or not, but it does really help. If you'd like to see any more videos or request any more videos, please leave a comment in the message box below, and don't forget to subscribe to see all of my future videos. I hope again you've enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you again soon. Take care.
If you'd like to keep up to date on all of my future releases, click the subscribe button here. Here are some links to some of my other videos. And if you've tried this or any other project, I'd love to see your progress, so please join my Facebook gardening group where thousands of people are sharing photos and ideas daily. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.